Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new campaign Let's Play video for Railroad Tycoon 3. Today we're doing the Rhodes Unfinished campaign scenario, which takes place in East Africa between 1902 and 1933, although if we're going for gold, it's 1902 to 1928. Anyway, in the heart of Africa you must pick up the pieces of a broken dream, a dream not only of Cecil Rhodes but that of the people of the African continent itself. Many felt that Africa's main hope for growth was to develop a sense of unity, a common bond that would transcend the borders of the many nations and tribes of the continent. Like Rhodes, many felt a trans-African railway could unite the country, that should probably say continent, Africa is a continent, not a country, much as a transcontinental railway had helped the United States and Canada. The United States and Canada actually are countries. There are many obstacles that you'll have to clear to shed some light on the dark continent. Bronze. Connect Dodoma in the south to Juba in the north before 1933. So you can see straight away we actually start in 1902 with $700,000 and a company, which is the Trans-African Railway. And we start in the city of Dodoma in the south here. It's a reasonable sized city, but unfortunately the nearby cities of Heneti and Kinyika are absolutely tiny. So we need to connect Dodoma in the south over here. You can see it on the map about here. All the way up to Juba in the north. It hasn't actually rendered properly, but it's over here. Before 1933, so that would give us 31 years. For silver, we need to do that and have a company book value of 20 million, so essentially if you get bronze, you're probably going to get silver, because I don't really know how you could connect Dodoma to Juba without a company book value of 20 million or more. And then for gold, you need to connect Dodoma to Juba and Nairobi, and have a company book value of 35 million or more, all before 1928, so you only have 26 years, which is not a very long time, and you do have quite a bit to do, and you can't build unconnected track, but you can take out bonds, you can issue stock, we don't have to worry about personal net worth, which is very good. We don't technically have to worry about industry profits, but we will buy industries inevitably. Also, 1902 to 1928 or 1933 gives us an interesting opportunity to have steam and electric. Diesel isn't available at this time, but steam and electric, and some of the early game electrics, whilst expensive, are actually very good. Although it's a bit unrealistic to have electric trains in the 1920s in East Africa. But we're not bothered about realism. Interestingly, we start with $100,000 in cash, but no shares, so it's not terribly important, but we'll just buy 1,000 shares in our own company. We don't need dividend, and we can issue stock, we can buy back stock. There are no other companies to merge with, there's no AI, so the attempt merger button is completely pointless. Yeah, we start with a company called the Trans-African Railway. We start with a large station in Dodoma. We can take out bonds, we can declare bankruptcy. We can't start another company, although we can resign as chairman, which is a bit weird. So essentially we're just stuck with this company, which is fine. I'm fine being called the Trans-African Railway, and I'm fine with that being our company logo. Territories, we've got access at the start to German East Africa, which is now modern-day Tanzania, which encompasses the island of Zanzibar as well, which I think is actually part of modern Tanzania, and northern Rhodesia, which is essentially pointless. There's no cities in northern Rhodesia at this time, or in this map, I should say. What country that is in real life, I don't actually know. Tempted to say Zambia, but I'm not sure. There's also Kenya, Uganda, Belgian Congo, which is modern-day Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, which in this case is modern-day South Sudan, and Ethiopia. And access to any and all of them, well, any one of them is 100,000. Which is really good. Now, I'm going to save the game as Rhodes Unfinished LP hard. So straight away, there's a few places with a bit of cargo lying around, and we don't exactly have a lot of money. And whilst Dodoma barely has anything, it's only got a couple of goods. The nearest city of any value, really, is Tabora, which is far too far away to connect to. And bearing in mind we can't build unconnected track. I mean, just straight line blitz track would be like 1.2 million. Which then obviously leaves us no money to build stations or trains or anything. And that's with a bond. So I think we've got two options here. We either start by building a factory, or, you know, buying an industry, and try and make some money that way. I mean, I'd like to buy that, but it's too expensive, even with a bond. Or we destroy this and start somewhere else, which seems a bit silly. But I think we probably will end up having to take out a bond and issue some stock. And then look for an industry in a city that's relatively profitable. Like that. Textile mill in Zanzibar. It's a possibility. Because that's actually... If it can make that each year, then that's relatively profitable. And it's only 750,000. Tabora itself, there's a meat plant here. It's 2 million though, it's too expensive. That's too expensive as well. It's only just started making money. So yeah, I think right now we just want to look for a decent, cheap industry. I will issue stock and take out a bond, which gives us just under 1.3 million. We could always just buy a load of cheap farms as well. That's always a decent shout. I think the cheapest farm is probably about 150,000. So we could either go for farms and stuff, or we go for something bigger, like a textile mill or something relatively sizable. And if we go for like that cattle ranch, which actually would probably be quite profitable because there's a meat plant right there. Unfortunately it's 1.2 million. So for 1.2 million I could probably get about 160,000 a year-ish in profit. Or... Now that's quite good. That's only 700,000. I think I'll go for the cattle ranch and then buy some grain farms, or just general farms. That's nice and cheap. So's that. And then that's cheap. That's too expensive. Can't afford that one, so we'll go for that one. Okay, and then that just gives us a bit of money, hopefully, and a bit of profit. So in terms of expansion, we probably want to go over from Dodoma towards Jamkola, and then Tabora. It's going to be like a slow start, this, but I think once we get to like Jamkola, Tabora, and then Mwanza, Shinyanga, then we'll probably start doing okay. So we do have a bit of track and a station with which we can run some trains. So if we look at the trains we've got available, we've got a lot available. So Dorchester seems to be available in every single scenario ever. The Fairleigh, for some reason, is still available. Thatcher Perkins, although it's possibly a bit out of date now. Because the good news is that between 1902 and 1933, you don't have to worry about the cargo load sizes increasing and changing and therefore making your trains really slow. Which is good. The bad news is that trains from the 1800s are probably out of date already. We've got the Mogul, we've got the Stirling, Consolidation, Shay, Pensy. I mean, if we had a lot of gradient, the Shay could be useful because it can still do like 20 miles an hour, which is about as fast as, well, it's only slightly slower than things like Thatcher Perkins and the Mogul. Stirling is pretty much useless at this point. Consolidation would be okay for freight, were it that we didn't have the Pensy, because the Pensy is going to be our freight train. And then the 10-wheeler we can use for passengers, because it is actually acceptable. So in terms of, and then the Camelback is not great for passengers, although it's actually not that bad. It's kind of cheap and cheerful. So for freight, we'll probably end up wanting to use the Pensy where possible, and then for passengers, either trains will become available and we can use them, or we use the 10-wheeler. But in actual fact, we don't actually have anything that is good for passengers except for the Stirling, and the Stirling is just useless at this point. So we just have to kind of hope that these small industries make some profit. Cattle ranch is the main one, and then the rest of the grain farms. The thing is farms always make a profit, but we're not going to make much money. Because I think the other alternative is, like I say, that maybe we're connected to Doma to Jamkola, but I don't think that would really have worked either, and there is actually a bit of a gradient here. We could probably get away with like a sort of... Yeah, I mean it's like a 4% gradient if we just build straight line track. But I could probably build it more efficient than that. Rubber farmers appeared for the first time near Maridi in Sudan, right at the very top left of the map. Because it's only 100,000 for access as well, it's possible that we might end up buying access into somewhere so we can get more farms and industries as well. I mean, essentially, you know, to get gold you need access to Kenya, and realistically you need access to Uganda and Sudan. Unfortunately we only made 50,000. So my plan might have backfired. Can't take out another bomb. We can issue stock, but I doubt we can buy another farm for the amount of money that we have. I doubt there's going to be anything... Oh, we can buy that. There is an absolute mountain of cargo in Tabora. You can make a fortune on this map, but I think it's just one of those with a very slow start. I'm also kind of thinking, have I done this wrong? I mean, like, Tabora, Jamkola, Shinyanga, and Mwanza would make a lot of money, but it's also very expensive. And I'm also now thinking, should I have just bought I mean, how's the textile mill doing? Oh, it's actually losing money, to be fair. So buying the textile mill would have been a mistake. That oil refinery, I think, was too expensive. Because otherwise I would have bought it, because that is actually rather profitable. Breweries appeared in Shinyanga, but we're just not making any money. This might be a restart. There's a brewery here in Wanzo, which is actually doing alright. Yeah, we're not making any money. Ooh, we can take out a bond. Can't issue stock. I doubt there's going to be any really profitable or really cheap farms, though. Because the thing is obviously anything that becomes really profitable becomes very expensive, like that. I'm kind of looking for really, really cheap stuff that's also profitable. If I can get something... I mean, that's really cheap. If I can get something that's kind of making about 10% of its cost per year, so if it's making 20,000, if I can buy it for 200,000, but that doesn't seem like it's a possibility. That textile mill, yeah, that would have been a big mistake. That's just losing money. That's Kenya. I don't really want to go into Kenya just yet. We're back in Tabora now. Maybe just wait a bit until I can issue the stock. Oh, there you go. Now this is really annoying because this is actually a good offer, but I don't think we're going to be able to do this. Basil Shillito Cave, the Consul General of Zanzibar and the Sultan of Zanzibar have determined that the clove trade on the island is losing too much money and the ferry service to the island is itself weak. They have requested that you connect the island with your railway. They want to build a cotton-based industry for the future of Zanzibar and East Africa. If you can do this before 1910, you will receive a grant of $2 million and a round of applause. So yeah, I mean, under normal circumstances it's a good offer, but the easiest way to do it would be Dodoma, Heneti, Kibaya, Kibarashi, and then probably Kibarashi straight to Zanzibar, or connect up to Tanga. But you do need a suspension bridge to connect to Zanzibar. I mean, all that in itself costs a few million, but you get 2 million for doing it. But we can't do that. Did I issue stock and just not realise? Oh no. Yeah, we can't do that, unfortunately. I could connect up with Heneti, and I could actually probably connect up with Kinyika, but is there really any point? Kibaya might have a bit of cargo. Really, I want to get to frickin' Tabora, but yeah, good luck with that. If I could get another bond, I could probably get to Jamkola. Do we connect to Heneti? Bearing in mind there's probably not anything worthwhile there. Oh, hang on. Also, electric trains become available this year. The 2D2 becomes available in 1904. I think we will connect up to Heneti though, and get a train going. And then eventually we can connect up to Kibaya when we hopefully get some money. So Heneti can just be serviced with a small station. It's really, really, really small. Now, you have come across the local Maasai tribesman. The chief of this tribe has insisted that you give them something of value for the rights to use their land. The exact boundaries are unknown. 50,000 in currency, 50,000 in gold, 50,000 in cattle, Give them a warning not to mess with the railroad. Right, well, obviously don't pick the last one. 50,000 in currency, I can't remember what that gives you. 50,000 in gold does give you a bonus, but I can't remember what it is. 50,000 in cattle gives you a bonus, and I can't remember what it is. But those two both give you good bonuses. I just can't remember what each one of them are. I know that the cattle bonus is pretty good, but it might not be the best. But we'll give them 50,000 in cattle. Because I know for a fact that it does give you a bonus that's quite good. I just don't remember what it is. Henneti has 0.6 loads of passengers that want to go to Dodoma, and that's it. Dodoma, we can just deliver some goods, and that's it. No passengers. Weirdly, the passengers are there, but they don't want to go to anywhere. And then that is it. So we just literally ship some goods from Dodoma to Henneti for a profit, small profit, and then Henneti is essentially nothing. We might as well use a 10-wheeler, I suppose. The other alternative is that we use a Pensy, but there's not really any point, so we'll just use the 10-wheeler. Your gift of cattle puts a look of amazement on the Maasai chief. He steps close to you and hugs you like a member of his family. The chief realises that only someone who cared about the Maasai would have taken the time to learn how important cattle are to his people. He tells you that a man with friends has more wealth than the greatest chief. Yeah, so the bonus is something good, I just can't remember what it is. I'm hoping it's cash. We will need a maintenance and a service over here. Now, annoyingly, that's created a bit of a dip. I should have just built it over here, but how was I to know it would create some kind of dip? I could fix it with post offices, but I'm a bit strapped for cash at the moment. And yeah, the Henneti train literally just delivers some passengers and that's it. So we'll put a dining car on, why not? 2 D2s become available, and also there's nothing for them to deliver. Electric trains introduced. So the 2 D2, yes, we would need electric track, and yes, it's not good for passengers, but it's actually faster than the Pensy. It's cheap to buy and cheap to maintain, it's good fuel economy, bad acceleration, and it's reliable. So as a freight train, once you get electric track set up, the 2 D2 is actually really good. Yeah, it's a very slow start, this scenario. Very slow start. We're just not delivering anything. But I do think that you genuinely have to go industry to start with. I just think I've possibly done it a bit wrong. Okay, how long is this going to take before it actually delivers something? I suppose it's a bit pointless sending it out with nothing, so I'll send it with a minimum of 1 load of cargo on both stations, because otherwise it's just going back and forth using up fuel. And it will take forever to actually arrive. Ah. Now that's a concern. The price of goods is equalised, so this is never ever ever going to deliver anything. There are some troops in Dodoma, but this is never ever ever going to deliver anything. I can't take out a bond, and they're very annoyed with me. Yeah, I might be a bit screwed here. out of interest... Ah! Your old friend the Maasai Chief comes to you on one of his frequent visits. However, this time he has a gift for you. He felt that your generous offer of cattle had been too great, and he feels that a true friend would share his wealth. He knows that Europeans desire diamonds, and he has a few that he'd like to give to you to do with what you will. You've received $300,000 worth of diamonds, which is just $300,000 in cash. And we can actually take out a bond as well, and issue some stock, and we've got almost $1 million now. We might be able to get to Jamcola. Might. The other alternative is that I try and push to Kibaya. Because Jamcola, whilst it's on the way to Tabora, Kibaya is on the way to Zanzibar. So it's kind of which is more important. I'll try getting to Jamcola with as flat track as possible. Because the 10-wheeler is not good on slope, on gradients. So Kinyika doesn't really have anything. Yeah, it seems fairly inevitable that you're going to have some 3% gradient, I suppose, is okay. Right, so we've made it to Jamcola with some pretty windy track, but fortunately, I think 3% gradient is probably about as good as we're going to get, and we have also actually technically connected to Kinyika, but we need to build a station. Jamcola, that can just have a medium station. Right, so Jamcola, there's meat and there's grain that we can ship to Dodoma. Some mail from Dodoma wants to go to Jamcola, and some passengers. So Heneti is actually fairly pointless at this point. Dodoma's got some goods, so we can go Dodoma to Jamcola, like so. And we might as well put dining car on as well. Oh, unfortunately we didn't manage to put the dining car on that train. We will need a water tower, which we'll build just outside Kinyika. I can't imagine Kinyika having anything of value. Heneti still has nothing, even with Jamcola connected. So yeah, we can't issue stock. Yeah, this train's just really bad on hills. Even though it's only like a 3% gradient, it's just not good on the hills. It is possible that Kibaya... Yeah, actually looking at it, Kibarashi doesn't really have any cargo because there's no lumber around. Fertilizer factory has appeared for the first time near Juba. I'm not really too bothered about that. Yeah, I was wondering about the city or the town of Rubeho, and yes, there will be a lot of mispronunciations in this map. But even that doesn't really have anything. So no, I think the next destination will be Tabora, if and when we can get to it. Probably don't actually need the dining car either, to be honest. Can't take out a bond, which is very annoying. Because we're barely making any money. If it weren't for the industries, we would be losing money. Because if you look at our income from last year, total profit 64,000. Industry profits was like 258,000. So without the industry, we'd be losing about 200,000 a year, and we'd just be hopeless. Whereas with the industry, we're barely making any money, and we're still mostly hopeless. Annoyingly, I probably need about another 1 million to be able to actually get to Tabora. because it's about 600,000 for the track, plus the station, plus the maintenance and service. But if I do away with that, it's still going to be like 800,000. So I need a bond and some decent profit, which we're just not making right now. Now this is annoying. There's passengers at Jamcola and there's some mail, but they don't want to go anywhere. There's 0.4 loads of grain. Yeah, this is the problem, is the prices just equalise. We deliver the goods from Dodoma to Jamcola, but then the prices equalise. If I build a small station in Kinyika... Oh wow, there's actually some passengers. Passengers want to go between Jamcola and Kinyika. And we'll build a water tower here as well. So we'll go to Kinyika. And then Jamcola and Kinyika. We can put a dining car on. So is that... Okay, why is the dining car... Oh, hang on, I think that's a bug. The dining car is making nothing. Because... I think we... Yeah, because I put the dining car on too late, the train technically holds 9 loads of cargo. So, I think the dining car would actually do something, it's just a bit of a bug there. Growing prosperity, can I take out a bond? I can take out a bond. Can't issue stock. So we're probably going to fail the Zanzibar challenge. But if we can make it to Tabora, that'll be really good. I mean, it is actually quite a hard challenge to get to Zanzibar from Dodoma before 1910, because these cities are just not very profitable. Whereas the like Jamcola, Tabora, etc. line is just a lot more profitable. Can't take out another bond, which is very annoying. They're really fed up with me. I hope we don't get sacked, because if we get sacked, we're screwed. We can't take out another. We can't start another company. So if we do get sacked, we are screwed. Right, we need a maintenance facility because we've run out of oil. One more bond and I can get to Tabora. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. The G4 has become available. Now, the G4 is actually a cheap, fairly decent passenger or freight train. How does it compare? It's better on slopes than the 10-wheeler, so I might actually change this from a 10-wheeler to a G4. How does it compare with stats? It's got better fuel economy, better acceleration, better reliability. Yeah, this is just... yeah. So I need to... I'll make this a G4 then. I think this is a mod. But it's a nice looking train. It looks like a sort of German thing. It's 060. So it's only a little train. But come on, just give me another bond, please. And then I can make it to Tabora. I won't need that many bridges in this scenario, but with regards to bridges, probably most of them will be iron bridges for the same reason as like Argentina and Orient Express. They can be doubled up. They're not too expensive. Also, why is this like 3% gradient? Oh, there is actually a bit of a gradient there, I suppose. Yeah, Tabora is over there. The fact I can't build unconnected track is proving to be a bit annoying in this scenario. We are also in economic prosperity. If I could get economic boom, that would be really good. Then I could get another bond and it'd probably be... Because I think economic boom would increase my credit rating. I could build a small station in Tabora, but it seems largely pointless. I actually do mostly need a large station, but unfortunately, the way that I've built the track, the large station wouldn't quite cover the entire city. I'd have to destroy a house. I mean, we're not making a lot of money, but we are making some money. And once we get to Tabora, it should improve. We are getting a lot of passengers, which is good as well. I've just actually realised that the train goes to Doma to Jamkola to Kinyika. So would it be better off going... Because it goes... Kinyika, it goes Kinyika to Dodoma, but it doesn't go Kinyika to Jamkola. And it doesn't go Dodoma to Kinyika, but... I don't think it matters too much. Anyway, we've made it to Tabora. Investors are actually somewhat pleased with us. Salary is 9,000. I don't really care what my salary is, as long as I don't get fired. Oil refinery and meat plant in Tabora are both hugely profitable. And there is a textile mill right here, but it's not making any money. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to destroy some track or knock a house down, I think. That actually works quite well. It doesn't quite... No, it doesn't quite get that textile mill, but it should be okay. I mean, there's not really any clothing there anyway. Nor is there any wool or cotton. So Tabora, as expected, is hugely profitable. So Tabora to Jamkola, or Dodoma, or Heneti. Tabora Dodoma would be the most profitable, but we could actually just do Tabora to Jamkola. And then that can be a G4. Whether we will run electric in this map or not, I don't actually know. I'd like to, but it might be, you know, impossible until quite late on in the scenario. But I think we should start to make some good money now, because I think Tabora will be really good. Chemical plant has appeared for the first time near Kibondo. Kibondo is in Germany, East Africa. It is actually quite nearby, and it's probably a city we will connect to. And also, wasn't there a fertiliser factory somewhere? So it's a bit unusual to have a fertiliser... Yeah. So how did this fertiliser factory operate without any chemicals at all? Like, the fertiliser factory was built before the first thing that generated any chemicals? Oh, actually, there is a port in Zanzibar that creates chemicals. And also there's a demand for chemicals in a fertilizer factory in Tanga, but that's only just been built. If there's enough cargo, I could actually do another train from Dodoma to Tabora. Like a long distance train. Yeah, I reckon that'll be fine. So, how are we for maintenance and service? Because I built a maintenance and service between Tabora and Jamkola. There's a maintenance there, there's a service there, there's a service there. We're actually okay. No trains are currently going to Heneti. There's a few people want to go to Heneti from Dodoma. But it is only a few. I do really want to get to Zanzibar, but doing that before 1910, I've only got 18 months, it's just not going to happen. Unless we get a huge influx in profit. And to be quite honest as well, 2 million for getting to Zanzibar is probably not actually worth it. When the suspension bridge alone will probably cost close to 2 million. Like, we will connect to Zanzibar eventually, I'm just saying we're going to have to be a lot more profitable. In my mind, I actually thought if we're hugely profitable late game, I did wonder if it's possible to connect to every city on the map, but that might be impossible at this point. But hey-ho, we'll just see how we do. Right, might as well take out a huge number of bombs. I'm going to save the game, actually. Seeing as we're actually doing quite well now. Although we only have until 1928, that's not a long time period. And there are a lot of cities on this map. And there are a lot of cities that are very hard to get to as well, so we would have to be hugely profitable to connect to every city on the map. Now, we've got about 2.1 million, so do we go Shinyanga Mwanza? Oh my god, there's a huge mountain of car... Yeah, okay. Insanely profitable brewery in Shinyanga. And Mwanza has a lot of cargo as well. Lots of oil in Mwanza. Okay, I think I've answered my own question, really. Yeah. This is going to be hugely profitable. Okay, that's actually annoying. Right. Basically forced to build a bridge out of Tanga. Or, sorry, out of Tabora. I mean, yes, you could have gone round and avoided the bridge, but it's just a lot easier to build a bridge there. We've already got a large station, and it is an iron bridge, so it can be doubled up if needs be. Although we will avoid building a second bridge. Next up to Shinyanga. And then Mwanza. And we will build a large station in Shinyanga. Where's the car? Yeah, cargo's just kind of all over the place, so we'll build it like that. So, Shinyanga has a lot of alcohol, meat, lumber, there's a bit of corn, we can't really deliver that anywhere. Tabora and Jamkola have grain, so yeah, Shinyanga Tabora is going to make a huge profit. Although we do need maintenance and service. So we are actually starting to see freight as well as passengers, which is really good. And the share price is increasing as well, which is always good as well. Keeps the investors happy and makes it less likely that they'll think about sacking me. And then we will connect up to Mwanza as well. Do I go around? and connect up to Bukombe as well. Relatively flat track. Or do I not do that and do a bridge? I don't actually like the idea of that. No, I think go around is a more sensible option. Can I avoid 4% gradient, really? Like, I know there's a bit of a... Yeah. Actually, it does seem like going to Bukombe and then... Yeah. So we'll go to Bukombe, and then we'll also do a junction like this. I mean, I don't think Bukombe really has anything, but we can just build a small station there when we get a bit more money coming in. And then Mwanza is basically a terminus, because I can't imagine ever building a giant suspension bridge over Lake Victoria. Plus you need access to Uganda. How much would that cost? A giant suspension bridge all the way across Lake Victoria. In game, I'm going to make a guess at about $6 million. In real life, you'd be insane. Although, here's a fun thing to think about. Is it humanly possible to build a giant suspension bridge that long? And is Lake Victoria just too deep? I kind of think the station there is optimally placed, but it's also like right on the track, so it just looks silly. The other alternative is I build it like that, but I think honestly I'll just build it like that. And then the game says that's fine, so who am I going to complain and question about it? Right, we are basically out of money, but Mwanza... so I do have a train going Shinyanga to Tabora. Mwanza, as expected, has a lot of alcohol that we can ship over to Tabora. Some oil that can't really ship for much of a profit. Lumber to Tabora, passengers to Tabora. Produce to Shinyanga. But honestly, we'll do Mwanza. God, this train's actually really good. It's not great on slopes, but for the time period, it is really good. It's cheap to buy and maintain. It's got great stats and it's acceptable for passengers, which is the best we can hope for at this point. Not Shinyanga, Tabora. And I'll probably don't need another maintenance facility, but we'll build a service tower here. Yeah, some of these trains are making huge profit. I will actually build a maintenance facility there, just in case. Bukombe. We can build a small station in Bukombe, I suppose. And if I build it like that, I might be able to expand it into a medium station. Bukombe, Mwanza and Shinyanga does actually have some passengers that want to go there, interestingly enough. Mail Shinyanga to Bora. But Bukombe might end up being like Haneti in that it is kind of pointless right now. That train should probably have a dining car on it. So we're actually making good money now. I will save the game. Yeah, I think that's just the nature of this scenario, is that you can make a fortune on the scenario, but it's also a very slow start. I didn't think I issued stock this year, but I must have done. With regards to Zanzibar, we have, you know, a few months, and we've got to make it all the way to Zanzibar. So we'd need, you know, I'm just guessing about 5 million to do that. It's just not possible. Right, in terms of future expansions, I'm not really sure where we want to go next, but I actually think we might be better off saving our money and buying some industry. Or building some industry. This distillery that's just cropped up, if there's enough sugar, which there isn't, or produce, which there isn't. There's a lot of grain though, so breweries do very well around here. But unfortunately they're always too profitable and too expensive. I mean, we can obviously build our own industry. Kibondo has a chemical plant, but there's no demand for chemicals anywhere nearby. Nugara has a barracks with some troops as well. Kampala will be a very profitable city as well because it creates weapons which are demanded. Well, not necessarily demanded, but we can ship them actually to Nagara for a profit. Steel demanded by this tool and die. So this warehouse just creates steel. So this tool and die has a ready supply of steel. So Kampala will end up being a big city. So the route will basically be, you know, Mwanza, Nagara, Kigali maybe, although it's a bit out of the way, and then Nagara, sort of, Kabale maybe, Mubarara, and yes, I will mispronounce a lot of cities in this game playthrough. Ntsui, Kampala, and then kind of just up north to Juba. And yeah, Zanzibar is just not going to be possible, unfortunately. We do need to get to Nairobi eventually, and we'll probably end up going via this way. The other alternative is that we go through, like, this way, through the Rift Valley. And yeah, connecting every city on the map is just not going to happen in this scenario, unfortunately. So, like I said, in terms of either expansion or future industry, I think maybe try and get to Nagara right now. Kibondo, probably not. And then maybe Kigali. Kigali does actually have a textile mill, a brewery, neither of which are profitable. Yeah, damn, there are some cities in this map that I really have no idea how you would get to. Like, how on earth do you connect up to these cities? Yeah, there's a lot of cities on this map that you probably never really deal with. Unless you're making like 10 million a year or something. I was going to go for Bukombe. Yeah, I think I'll do that instead, actually. Go from Bukombe. Because it seems flatter and easier. So, if I can avoid the gradients... It's actually fairly hilly round here, unfortunately. suppose 4% isn't too bad, but... yeah, that might be about as good as it gets, unfortunately. Because the other alternative is that we build a bridge and go around here, but... I don't know. I think 4% is probably okay. And then... yeah, getting to Kigali is actually going to be kind of hard, because it's a bit hilly around here. We also don't have any money. Well, we do, but not enough. The medium station does actually cover the city, or the town. I don't know if these are towns or cities, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to build it like that. Because it can probably be upgraded to a large if needs be. So even though there are some troops in Nagara, they don't want to go anywhere. Passengers want to go to and from Nagara to Mwanza. That's about it. So... wow, very profitable to ship alcohol to Nagara and some lumber. And some produce. So we'll do Mwanza to Nagara. Bukombe is still largely pointless, I would say. Unless we do Bukombe to Mwanza. Right, so we'll do Mwanza to Nagara. Any cargo. Probably don't need a dining car on that train. And I think we will actually... I'm contemplating, is it worth... doing a Mwanza Bukombe train? No. So Bukombe and Haneti currently have no trains going to or from there. The city of Koga I've just seen over there. It's a bit out the way. But it does have a lumber mill. And then there's also Malagarasi, which again is actually further out the way. Koga could be an interesting connection point. Stock split 2 for 1, that's very good actually. So it seems like we failed the Zanzibar challenge, although there's not been any notification to tell me that I failed specifically. So maybe the game is a bit bugged and you actually have until 1911 or something, but... I don't think there's an actual penalty for failing. Because normally it's like, you know, do this and you'll be rewarded, fail and you get a big penalty or something, but with this one I don't think there is any actual penalty for failing, because it is actually quite tough to do. I do want to get to Kigali, but it is really quite out of the way, and I'm just wondering, if I pay 100,000 to get to Uganda... ah, Kabale and Mubarara are actually in Uganda. So let's buy into Uganda, and then might be able to connect to Mubarara, or just go straight to Kampala. Do I have enough money for that? It's quite a long way. Although I found some relatively flat track around here, which is useful. I might have enough to do this. Don't like that bit of track. It's a bit bumpy. Okay, where the heck's the city? Ah. Yeah, I don't have enough right now, do I? because I need to build this bridge. I can build the track, but I can't build the station. That is a long old way. I think, though, we can probably wait for some money to come in and then just build the station when the money comes in. Because honestly, I actually really like that track. It's a bit bumpy in places, but it's only like a 3% gradient, so it's not too bad. And Kampala will be a hugely profitable city, so I'm going to keep it for now. And then wait for some money to come in. Whether that's by bonds or issuing stock, or just general industry money or whatever. So Kampala... Wow. Yeah, okay. Kampala to Nagara, we can make a fortune hauling weapons. Goods, corn, clothes. Wow, okay. And also, whilst it's quite far, Kampala to Mwanza will be hugely profitable as well. I just need some money to come in. Right. So we'll do Kampala to Nagara. Oh, wow. Okay, 1.2 million just delivering weapons. We will need some water towers, though, or service towers. One there, and... well, we'll just go for one there. Probably want another one around about there-ish or so. Yeah. Towns and cities have stopped accepting unprocessed oil and coal. You must now ship these cargoes to an electric plant or oil refinery. So oil refineries are going to make even more money than they already do. I don't even know how much oil and coal we're actually delivering, because there's no coal on the map at all. Which does beg the question of how do steel mills make steel? And I guess they just don't exist on this map? No, there are no steel mills on this map. So all the steel is made by warehouses, which is actually really useful. Also, bauxite is made into ammunition. There's a bit of... There's quite high prices for ammunition because of barracks and stuff. But there's no bauxite anywhere on the map. So we did... Yeah, put a dining car on that train. Yeah, we're probably shipping a fair bit of oil, though, here and there. Yeah, because obviously the Tabora oil refinery. With regards to our stations, Jamkola is still a medium, and I'm just thinking I might make that into a large whilst I can. Because eventually the city's going to get so big I can't actually upgrade it. Kinyika has grown a bit, so I'll make that a medium station. It still doesn't actually cover the whole city, annoyingly. Probably should have just made it a large. And we'll do... Is Mwanza to Kampala's not actually all that profitable? Oh, hang on, there's a lot of oil to deliver. So, we'll actually do Mwanza to Kampala, and then Kampala to Mwanza. Kampala to Mwanza will be a lot more profitable. And we're probably going to want to double up some of this track once we've got a bit of money coming in. Right, the Atlantic has become available. Now, the Atlantic is cheap to buy but expensive to maintain. fast acceleration, good for passengers, and pretty fast. Although not good on slopes. But it's good for flat land with lots of passengers. Although it's expensive to maintain, that's the only downside. Right, we'll build a maintenance facility here and one here. That should be okay. And then future destination, probably Soroti. Or Soroti. And then we're not too far from Juba. Company book value needs to improve, obviously, but we're still in early days. I mean, technically, once we connect to Juba, A, our company book value will increase, and B, that is bronze right there and then. So, Soroti, I don't know what is in Soroti. There's a textile mill just opened up. So let's connect over to Soroti. Soroti, whatever. Nakasongola could be worthwhile to connect up to as well. So we'll do that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to either build through or around this corn farm. If indeed it is a corn farm. What actually is that? Oh, it's a sugar farm. Quite a profitable one at that, but it's too expensive to buy right now. And we are out of money. But almost at Soroti. Nakasongola. Yeah, so the weapons have arrived. 1.1 million. Very, very nice. Still in economic prosperity, which is good, but I'm kind of hoping that it goes to a boom. Nakasongola. We'll build a medium station. Or I might actually build a large. No, I think I'll build a medium. Sugar we could ship to Nitsui, were it connected. Some people want to go to and from Kampala. And then Soroti. Could do a medium station, but I'm just thinking it might be better with a large. I think I'll do a medium for now. I think this city will actually be worthwhile connecting to, so I will actually do that. Might issue stock, annoyingly. Yeah, the Kampala and Mwanza train's almost coming in, that's really good as well. Yeah, let's save the game. And I will actually connect up to this city. And then we can do yeah, we'll do Kampala to Soroti. That could be an Atlantic, to be fair. But I think we'll stick with G4 for now. Deliver some goods. And then Nakasongola to Nutsui, or Nutsui. Delivering a load of sugar and corn. Ah, bauxite mine has appeared for the first time near Heneti. That's actually useful. Because bauxite is actually demanded in Dodoma. So this could end up being useful. Because it just supplies bauxite. And then this turns it into ammunition, which is then demanded actually in Dodoma itself. And yeah, it's now 1911 and nothing's come up about Zanzibar, so seems like we've just kind of ignored it, I suppose. Right, so from Soroti we could go over to Koito, which has a oil refinery that is unprofitable, and a paper mill that isn't exactly doing anything. Nimule, I mean, we want to get access to Sudan, has a chemical plant which is demanded in Masindi with the fertilizer factory, so it could actually be worthwhile to get to Masindi. But we basically want to get to Juba, and we want to go probably Juba to Nimule, because that's just the simplest way of doing it. Like, we have to connect to Juba for bronze, so we've probably actually got enough money right now to connect to Juba. Whether there's any kind of reward once you connect to Juba or not, I doubt it, but you never know. It's quite mad, really, isn't it? I said I can't connect Dodoma to Zanzibar before 1910, and yet here we are in 1911. I've already basically connected Dodoma up to Juba. I can't actually go any further than that because I need access to Sudan. The fact that access is only 100,000 on this map is ridiculous, but incredibly useful. Makes it a lot easier. Because normally on a map like this, access would be, you know, like 3 million for Sudan, and then like, you know, 3 million for Uganda, and, you know, it'd be like 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, whatever. And then there'd also be like somewhere like Belgian Congo where it's like, oh, you can't build there. Well, you can, but it's like 10 million. But the fact is that literally only 100,000 for any of the territories is ridiculous, but very, very, very handy. Build a station like that, which is a bit more centralised. So Nimule, which is on the Sudan-Ugandan border, we can deliver oil and diesel and some passengers over to Kampala. So we'll do Nimule to Kampala with a G4. And as expected, it's making a huge profit with diesel and stuff. So even though early on we went industry, now the trains are just hugely profitable. So we can just basically run trains and it's fine. And don't think we've got enough money to get to Juba just yet, but we will do by year's end. Once we can issue some stock. Oh, or take out a bond. Right, so we've got 10 million in bonds, and they're not good bonds. But we can always refinance them when the company's in a stronger economic position. Now, there's a bit of a hill here, but I think I can probably build around most of it. There's a bit of a 5% gradient there, which I'm hoping I can avoid. There you go. Oh, that's actually the Nile River. Huh. I guess that makes sense, because it does go to Lake Victoria. But just, I mean, the Nile is the longest river in the world, or is it the Amazon? But typically the Nile is regarded as the longest river in the world. And it does supposedly originate in Lake Victoria. And it goes all the way to the Mediterranean, which is a very long way indeed. I'm glad we don't have to go all the way up to Cairo, because if you watch the introductory video, the whole point of this is that Cecil Rhodes wanted a railroad from Cape Town in South Africa to Cairo in Egypt, and, you know, a lot of East Africa at the time was part of the British Empire. But I'm glad that we don't have to build from Cape Town to Cairo, because whilst that would be a very fun scenario, it would be incredibly challenging. Take a very long way of doing that. Scientists discover yet another cancer-causing agent in 1911. Whoa! What the heck?